One of the most important things you'll interact with as a broadcast engineer is the air chain. The air chain is all the equipment linked together to get a radio station's audio to the transmitter site. Almost everything in the air chain is deserving of its own video, so today we'll just do a brief overview. The air chain starts with mixing consoles and automation playout servers. We'll talk about automation systems in a later video. These audio sources are usually mixed together in one place to serve as the authoritative air feed. For us, that authoritative source is a virtual mixer in an Axius studio engine here in the rack room. Many smaller stations will simply take the main program bus from the mixing console in the studio. Next up is the emergency alert system. Every radio station in the United States must have equipment monitoring at least 2 other stations upstream from them in the EAS. If an emergency alert is received, these devices will break into programming automatically and retransmit that message. Some stations leave automatic relay turned off, but there are a few things we're all required to send, like weekly or monthly tests. Next, we have the program delay units. These are responsible for that mystical 7-second profanity delay you hear about. These things save radio stations from heavy FCC fines every day. This is usually the point where the feed splits to be fed to either the transmitter or the streaming provider, but the next step happens to both. For those who grew up in the 90s or earlier, do you remember getting a Nielsen diary in the mail? Those surveys are the lifeblood of the media industry because that's how station ratings are determined. In many markets, Nielsen now runs a program where survey participants wear a pager-sized device that listens for subaudible watermarks we inject into the audio right here. If you're into ham radio, you can think of it as sort of like a CTCSS or a PL tone you'll sometimes use on certain repeaters. The stream feed then goes to the streaming encoder. Very few radio stations host their own streams, so these devices usually ship the audio off to a provider like Triton Digital or Revma to distribute it to listeners. They have the bandwidth to handle the load. The terrestrial radio feed then goes to the last device in the air chain, the studio transmitter link. Historically, these have been directional 900 MHz FM transmitters pointed at the transmitter tower, where they're received and then run through a smaller daisy chain of equipment for final audio processing and transmission. These days, many stations use IP transport over fiber or microwave radio links. These Gates Air Intraplex units can do both at the same time. That was a lot to go over, and it's barely scratching the surface. The air chain is so simple yet so complex, and it's critical infrastructure for keeping a radio station on the air. Over time, I'll do some deeper dives into some equipment found in the air chain, but until then, make sure you follow for more.